of this very, very vital and crucial pathway for our generation. we live in a world which is full of accusations. Every day we're getting accusations flung against the Jewish people by the Muslims, by the United Nations, by the non-governmental organizations. They're having a field day to their criticisms, and part of the pain of living in contemporary society is that everybody in business and at work is subject to this highly judgmental environment where everybody is forced to run on tiptoes the whole time, because if they should stumble, they're going to have critical voices and bad marks, and it's going to be remembered in a very, very critical time in the sense of the modality of, whether we realize it or not, people are terribly judgmental and critical, and the whole sweetening of Reb Nachman comes precisely from the sweetening of the judgments, the mitigation of the harsh critical judgments, and this pathway is fully explained in The Wings of the Sun. The secrets of the future temple. To my great sorrow, this book has been on display and people just haven't understood what this book is. Nobody yet understands what this book is. We every day pray for the rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem. We pray for the restoration of the temple service. We mourn on Tisha B'Av that it was destroyed, and nobody has the faintest idea what it's about. Everybody thinks it's a building, beautiful building, nicely decorated. Nobody has any idea that every courtyard, every gateway, every hall, every wall contains the mitigating power of the names of God. That is what Ramchal in this book, The Secrets of the Future Temple, explains, that the vision of Ezekiel of the third temple, which gives us precise details of the length and breadth of every hall, the height of every wall, the width of every gateway, that every detail of gematria is what we call sacred geometry. The whole building is a sacred geometry where physical length, breadth and height is actually a mathematical expression of the power of God's names. And even if you don't understand what Ramchal is talking about, even though the book has a full overview and explanation and discussion, and he has a very, very, very sweet Torah, which is really an introduction to the whole Kabbalistic system, this book is worthy of being on every bookshelf in every Jewish home, because this book explains to us what the temple is going to be. It's going to be a place of harmony and a model of harmony for the entire world. Just to throw out one idea, the future temple is entirely square. In fact, it somewhat resembles the whole look of the place, the bite of the tefillin. It's cubic. It's a cube. The temple building is a cube, and all the temple courtyards are perfect squares. That is not the case in the second temple and the first temple. There, the courtyards were rectangular; they elongated. But here in the future temple, it's a series of squares, one inside of the other. And the thing about a square is that everything is in perfect balance. Yes, there's the left side and the right side, there's a top and a bottom, and they're all exactly equidistant from each other. That is the definition of a square. Everything is held in perfect balance. And what Ramchal explains in this book is how the different walls and courtyards of the temple join the different divine names together, Shem Havaya, Shem Adnut, and out of this is created physical space, which is the physical embodiment in stone of the presence of God. And this is a book that Ramchal wrote beyond his times, a work of prophecy, a work of Kabbalistic insight, which I've seen nowhere else. I've seen nowhere in any Kabbalistic work an explanation of what is the purpose of the third temple, what is accomplished by the sacrifices in the third temple. Now, what is accomplished by the sacrifices is that represented in the sacrifice are all the elements of creation. There's the Kohen, the priest, and the Levi, the Levitical singer, and the Yisrael standing by the owner of the sacrifice, the people of Israel, they are the level of the human. The lamb is an animal. It's brought with wheat, flour, and grape wine, and olive oil. This is the vegetable world. And every sacrifice has salt, which is the mineral and the inanimate world, and thus all parts of creation are joined in their source. In the temple, the altar is right by the Even Shtiyah, the foundation stone from which the whole world spread out from Jerusalem. And stretching out from Jerusalem, there are other things that you can't see. There are channels of energy which actually spread all over the world. Why was Shlomo HaMelech able to plant in Jerusalem all of the fruit trees from all over the world? Because the energy lines going out from Jerusalem spread to all the world. If you know where the energy lines are, you know where to plant the trees, and that's how Shlomo did it. It's an amazing thing. You see in Israel, everything is there. There's mountains with snow, there's the Hermon, which is really a part of Israel. Never forget that the Hermon belongs to Israel, it's part of Eretz Israel, and the snow-capped mountains, the Meron, coexist with the desert and the Elat and every climate, every kind of plant, everything grows in Eretz Israel. And that is because all the energy lines are going out from Eretz Israel over the whole world. And this is what Ramchal is explaining in this book. He does it in such an exquisitely beautiful way. And I urge you to just get this book into your library and give it to your dear ones and your friends, because this is our national future. Writing this book was one of the great crowns of my career, because never before had I understood what our purpose as a people is. And Ramchal explains to us what our purpose is. So you have on the table some very, very precious books. Not all of them are always available in the bookstores, so take your opportunity tonight. I'd like to tell you a little more about the Azamra Institute, which I established in 1986. And its mission is to bring the teachings of our Torah, the Chumash and the Tanakh, the oral law, and particularly Kabbalah and Hasidut, into the languages and media of the present age. It's been growing at a phenomenal rate. We now get about 30,000 plus visits, separate visits every month to the site in the last few months, and growing steadily, about over 160,000 hits per month. And they're coming from literally every place in the world. As I discussed last night in the Suda, literally I've got people from Saudi Arabia, I've got people from Thailand, a Jewish sheep farmer in the northernmost islands of Scotland is reading stuff from the site. There's North America, South America, Australia, New Zealand, literally everywhere in the world. And everything on the site is free. There is a weekly class that I give when I'm in Yerushalayim every Sunday. It's given at 6 p.m. in Jerusalem, which means it's 11 a.m. here in New York. You can get my class. There's an audio feed, and you also have an instant messaging chat window where you can send in comments, points that you would like raised in the class. And we have quite a global hookup which spreads from Israel, South Africa, Spain, USA, Canada, and England. And we have quite a chevra joining in each week, and you're all invited to join in. You can also get emails on a weekly basis or on a daily basis. We have a Tanakh study class that studies 2 chapters of the Tanakh every day, and we start the day after Sukkot, the day after Simchas Torah. We start with the book of Joshua. We go through the year, through the books one by one: Joshua, Judges, Samuel, Kings, the prophets, the Mishlei, everything except Tehillim. 2 chapters a day. You finish the entire Nach in 1 year. We make a siyum on Simchas Torah, the 5 Megillas. You can get daily email commentary, and if there's a particular book of Nach you'd like to read the commentary, you can. The whole commentary is archived online for immediate